Residents near a Los Angeles high school react after an oil leak in their Echo Park neighborhood is discovered.
And one of the first openly transgender people elected to a state legislature defeats a conservative opponent who was in office for 13 years.
Plus, students at a rally on campus are calling on the university to join other schools that take advantage of solar energy.
Annenberg TV News is coming up next.
Live from USC, you're watching Annenberg TV News.
Terrible, not good future. Yeah, I think the street has really bad conditions, especially for the oil.
Residents in Echo Park are worried about oil contamination affecting their neighborhoods in Los Angeles. Good evening, I'm Suji Nam.
And I'm Madeline Otterly. Annenberg Media's Josh Cohen shows us where local and state investigations are currently underway.
Residents in this Echo Park neighborhood are dealing with an oil spill that was discovered last weekend. Residents say this kind of thing has been a problem for a while. And while the owner of the well has reportedly shut it down, the leaking mishaps on Furman Street still present challenges to those who live in the area.
There's been a lot of oil around the building, that's the whole building. So we smell it, every single night. Sometimes people can't sleep like me because it's strong smell, like something burning, something like that.
The LA Times reported that while harmful gases may have been released into the atmosphere, the oil did not escape the containment area. Now, according to the LA Times, no oil leaked down from where the spill started up the hill there on Furman Street down here to Edward R. Roybal Learning Center, where I am now, a local high school. A lot of high schools in this area. The good news, though, for this school and the other ones in the area, they were not threatened by the spill. This is an unwelcome sight for nearby homeowners, and one expert knows that leaking oil plus homes equals a hazard.
The real issue is people being contaminated in a variety of ways just by the nature of what oil is. So in a residential area, it's a big deal.
State and local officials have launched a joint investigation of the spill. For Annenberg Media, I'm Josh Cohen.
A candidate for California governor spoke today on his plans for fighting climate change. Democrat Antonio Villaraigosa says that being pro-environment doesn't necessarily mean being anti-business. He says he thinks everyone can work together.
I'm running on a pro-growth agenda. That's pro-business and pro-worker and pro-environment. I don't think there's a contradiction between those things. If climate change is the #1 threat to mankind, then it ought to have that kind of urgency. And I'm going to bring the business community together with the environmental community, with labor, with community. We're going to be off of coal by 2025.
The election will be held in November of next year. The former LA mayor is up against some big names in state politics, including Lieutenant Governor Gavin Newsom and State Treasurer John Chung. We contacted their campaigns for comment and have yet to receive a response.
The Los Angeles City Council unanimously voted today to have the city transition to a zero-emission bus fleet by 2030. Right now, the city mostly uses buses powered by natural gas. Councilmember Mike Bonin says the decision to move to more eco-friendly buses comes from the dangers of smog and the overall increase in climate change.
USC students held a rally today calling for USC to add more solar panels to buildings on campus. Annenberg Media's Catherine Wang spoke to students and the university about the issue.
What do we want? Solar! When do we want it? Now! What do we want? Solar!
USC's Environmental Court has their annual Go Solar Rally at Tommy Trojan. Holding posters and chanting slogans, demonstrators asking students to sign petitions to make USC an environmentally friendly campus.
Our goal is honestly to show administration, our community, the entire Trojan family that there is still a student push for solar energy on campus and that push is not going away. And the push comes from a place of knowing that USC needs to commit to carbon neutrality or needs to commit to a sustainable push on campus.
But the USC administrator says using solar panels raises both engineering and financial issues.
Most of the buildings on campus are not built to hold solar power. Right? For instance, many people say, why don't you put it on the top of a parking structure? The parking structure is designed to hold that many cars and nothing else. So we would have to reinforce the parking structure, add electrical, and make other code changes to the parking structure to be able to accommodate.
Although Ewart says this idea is not economically feasible, other universities in California, like Stanford and UCSD, have already installed solar panels on their campuses.
We were fortunate to be able to do was get the benefit. There was a California Solar Initiative at the time, so we were able to get incentive money to help with the installation, and then we also we had some other initiatives that we used. We were able to get different types of incentive money to help us lower the cost.
Back at USC, Ewart says the new USC Village buildings have the capability to add solar panels, but the university needs time to evaluate each building to make better decisions. For Annenberg Media, I'm Yijing Wang.
A year after President Trump's election, women, minorities, and the LGBT community are getting more involved in local and state politics, and they're winning.
Our political anchor, Tanvi Varma, joins us to break down the results from yesterday's election. Tanvi?
Thanks, Suji and Madeline. Last night's election saw several candidates from minority groups win seats in public office for the first time. Here are just a few of the winners making history. Andrea Jenkins made history in Minneapolis by being the first transgender woman of color elected to any public office. She will now be in city council, having received 2/3 of the vote. The new mayor of Montana's capital is not only the first black mayor, but also a Liberian refugee. Vi Lyles has become Charlotte, North Carolina's first African-American female mayor after serving as a public official for decades. And New Jersey voters just elected their first Sikh mayor, Ravinder Bala. Bala has fought for civil rights as an attorney. Democrats won big in last night's election, taking back several governor and state legislature seats. This is the first significant win for the Democrats since Donald Trump's victory. Trump blamed the Republican losses on the fact that Republican candidates didn't endorse his policies. For more on yesterday's outcomes and how they'll affect the 2018 midterm elections, I spoke to expert Sherry Babich Jeffy, who explained the significance of the results.
Democrats had a great night, and you cannot ignore the reality that these elections were, at least in part, a referendum on Donald Trump.
Jeffy explained that Republicans will want to downplay these losses while Democrats will try to exaggerate their importance. She emphasized that these wins are what are keeping Democrats alive. Jeffy also told me that Republican areas went Democratic partly because of Congress's failure to repeal and replace Obamacare. Later, we'll bring you the story of the first trans person elected to a state legislature. Madeline and Suji, back to you.
All right, well, thanks, Tommy. Well, dozens of people protested outside the Myanmar consulate today against what they say is an ongoing genocide in Southeast Asia. Organizers say that the ethnic cleansing has forced 500,000 Rohingya people to flee.
So the Rohingya are a population that have been really ignored for many, many years. In many ways, they're a stateless people. They don't have citizenship from Myanmar, they don't have citizenship from Bangladesh, and the Myanmar government has been trying to push them off their land for many years. And so right now there's 600,000 people that have been displaced from their homes and forced to flee across the border into Bangladesh. I mean, this has been happening for years, right? Like, people are starting to pay attention now because of the mass influx of people that are crossing the borders, right? So when you see those kinds of large numbers, you get some reporting from big, news networks. People start paying attention.
But some anti-protesters say Rohingya people do not belong in Myanmar and are responsible for many deaths themselves.
They kill the people over there. There is no genocide. We make the rule and regulation, not the law of rule. No, not genocide. So they based on the wrong information.
The U.S. and UN are condemning the Myanmar government for ethnic cleansing. The Myanmar government has denied the allegations that they are committing genocide. U.S. lawmakers have introduced new sanctions on the Myanmar military in response to this crisis.
A former news anchor is accusing actor Kevin Spacey of sexually assaulting her son. We spoke to an expert in criminal law about the allegations.
Next, the way we tell in consumer news is changing as Twitter increases the character count for tweets.
And a solution for city traffic could be on its way as Uber teams up with NASA to take everyday transportation to the skies. The story coming up next.
Recently, our country has witnessed catastrophic devastation. Hurricanes and flooding have upended lives and livelihoods.
Across this great country, Americans have answered the call.
That special calling that compels us when others are down to step up and do whatever it takes.
America's at her best when, against all odds, we come together and lift each other up.
Please donate to oneamericaappeal.org. America needs you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Listen, I realize that I'm not perfect, but it all really started to change because you judge me for having a problem. No one is going to know that I need help. I need help. I know that no one is going to judge me for having a problem. I realize that I'm not perfect, but it all really started to change because you listen.
Bye-bye.
Hi. Hoping for a crisp breeze to help keep you alert. Oh, he took a sip of water too. That'll probably help. You were probably going to turn down the radio too, so you could focus, right?
Probably okay isn't okay.
Right?
If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend.
I think the water line is what really drove it home. I blew on him.
Actor Kevin Spacey is facing another sexual assault allegation. Former Boston TV anchor Heather Unruh says her son was sexually assaulted by Spacey last summer in a Massachusetts bar.
The victim, my son, was a starstruck, straight, 18-year-old young man who had no idea that the famous actor was an alleged sexual predator. Kevin Spacey bought him drink after drink after drink. And when my son was drunk, Spacey made his move and sexually assaulted him.
Unruh says her son filed a police report last week, and Nantucket police are still investigating. Several people have come forward in the last month accusing Spacey of sexual assault. Netflix cut ties with the actor last week, ending production of House of Cards and the release of a film project. One legal expert says Spacey may have even more problems ahead.
Even if the charges don't get filed in criminal court, he could be sued civilly. So he needs two types of lawyers right now. He needs a civil attorney to advise him how to shield himself from civil liability and what he should be doing, aside from the criminal case. So he's got a legal team right now that's working on, overtime to make sure that all of these issues are handled properly, because there's going to be a domino effect. If he is convicted, you're going to see a slew of lawsuits coming his way.
A lawyer representing Spacey told BuzzFeed News Spacey denies these sexual assault allegations. His now former agent said in a statement last week that Spacey was undergoing treatment of some kind.
Twitter doubled its character count this week. Annenberg Media's Rebecca Chen shows us how this could impact journalists and news consumers.
Twitter increased its character count to 140 characters to 280. The move came after months of testing. Twitter says the higher limits will make more people more likely to tweet. Some students say it won't change the way they use it.
I didn't really think anything of it because I was so used to just like the 150 words and like always trying to cut it down. So it didn't really affect me in the way I thought it might have.
Other students say they prefer the higher count to get more information quickly.
Now with the 280 character limit, you can convey more information in a single tweet. So tweet storms don't need to be so long and so difficult to read.
NBC reporter Jonathan Gonzalez says the increase will help journalists.
They use Twitter to reach out to viewers. They reach to get their messages across, to impact change. And 280 characters allows us now to get more information out to our viewers, to our readers, and our Twitter just became literally twice as powerful as it was before.
The reality is that they probably need to embrace the fact that they're not a big social network, but instead they're an information network like the Associated Press.
Professor North thinks Twitter wants to expand its audience base by implementing the 280 plan. However, she thinks Twitter should maintain its role as an efficient news outlet.
They're a place where journalists and other thought leaders and other big communicators go to get their news, go to get their quotes, go to get their real-time information.
Japanese and Korean will still have a 140 character limit, because in those languages, a character can be an entire word. For Annenberg Media, I'm Rebecca Chen.
Well, Suji, just as it was starting to feel like winter, it's heating up again.
And I thought Christmas was next month. Well, I'm sure our very own weather anchor Judy Wand will have more. Welcome, Judy.
All right, thanks guys. Let's get started with current conditions. So today, fairly sunny at 65 degrees, feeling a little chilly. And for tomorrow's forecast, if you're looking to head towards Big Bear, you can expect a high of 60 degrees and a high of 73 degrees in Riverside. Taking it over to the LA area, you've got 69 degrees in Simi Valley, and down by the coast, only 67 degrees in Malibu. And we can move it a little forward. USC is 69 degrees, and Anaheim, 72 degrees, and a high of only 67 degrees in Long Beach. And for the week ahead, we've got 70s all week, 71 degrees and mostly sunny on Thursday, 70 on Friday. We see a high of 75 degrees on Monday, and mostly clear skies, partly cloudy Friday through Sunday.
Just when I thought it was going to get cold.
I really wanted winter weather. I wanted sweaters.
And this time change on the Sunday kind of threw me off a little bit.
It threw me off a lot. Well, anyways, thank you so much for that great report. All right, well, what if you could say goodbye to LA traffic? That might be possible in the near future because flying taxis are now in the works. Uber is pairing up with NASA to build a taxi air control software that is programmed for flying cars. LA and Dallas will be the first cities to test out these completed cars by the year 2020. If all goes well, Uber hopes these autonomous cars will help visitors travel around the city during the 2028 Olympics. Now, in a press release, the company said that Uber Air will be performing far more flights over cities on a daily basis than ever before. Combining Uber's software engineering expertise with NASA's decades of aerospace experience to tackle this is a crucial step forward for Uber to elevate. But the Federal Aviation Administration says several areas need further research, like identifying the operational risks, making sure the automation that flies the autonomous vehicle is safe, and how the automation will interact with the air traffic control system. Well, you know, there's a lot in sports, right, Amy?
There is definitely a lot going on.
That's what Amy told me.
All right. Well, thanks, Suji and Madeline. It is definitely a busy week for sports. The USC women's volleyball team is preparing for their upcoming matches. And the football team is preparing to take on the University of Colorado at Boulder on Saturday. Out at the pool, the men's water polo team is preparing for their crosstown showdown against the UCLA Bruins. Sports are next.
You think you're probably sober?
Yeah.
But you're thinking about taking the back roads home just in case. Why would you do that?
Probably okay isn't okay. Call a cab, a car, or a friend.
Good choice.
Every year, 40% of all food in the U.S. never gets eaten.
40%. That's almost half the food we produce.
Food waste is a serious problem. It impacts all of us.
And it's expensive. Your family is throwing $1,500 a year in the trash.
We're working hard to put food waste on the chopping block.
And you can do the same at home.
Learn how to cook it, store it, and share it.
Just don't waste it.
Go to SaveTheFood.com.
After 15 years of smoking, Eva Marie quit. There's a new lung cancer screening that could save her life. You stopped smoking. Now start screening. Learn more at savedbythescan.org.
USC is coming off of a dominant performance against the University of Arizona. That performance helped move the Trojans up the rankings from number 17 to number 11 before they faced the University of Colorado at Boulder on Saturday. We were at practice yesterday when the players heard about their rankings jump. Take a listen.
Are you surprised to move up 6 spots?
No, I mean, with, the past couple wins we put together, pretty good wins in a great, Pac-12 conference. And then, if you look at the 2 losses that we have against, a Wazoo team that was really hot and is still a really good football team, and then obviously against a really great Notre Dame team. So if you take those losses into account, they're against really good teams, and I think our wins have been really impressive, honestly.
That's surprising. You know, I feel like we should be there. I didn't know that we jumped that far, but that's what's up, so I like that.
That's good to hear, but surprised now.
It's nice to move up, but we're focused on Colorado and what that means for our team.
The Colorado Buffaloes are currently unranked, while the USC Trojans are number 11. The Trojans are standing at 6-1 in Pac-12 Conference and 8-2 overall, while the Buffaloes are standing at 2-5 in the Pac-12 Conference and 5-5 overall. Clay Helton and Sam Darnold spoke about how the team is preparing for this matchup.
We're focused on taking it 1 week at a time because, you know, if we beat Colorado, then we control our own destiny. And, you know, if we beat UCLA, if we just continue to win games, that's really all that matters.
We're just focused on the next game, to be honest with you. I've always said add them all up at the end and see where you're at. And, you know, this week this team has always been about preparation and treating it like a playoff game, each game like a playoff game. And we've got a chance to win a Pac-12 South title, so that's our only focus.
The Trojans will look to improve to a 9-2 team on Saturday at noon Pacific time. Our correspondent Chloe Chryssikopoulos headed out to speak with the head coach of the women's rowing team about their upcoming race.
I'm Chloe Chryssikopoulos here with USC's head women's rowing coach, Josh Adams. Thank you so much for being here with me today.
Hi, Chloe. Nice to meet you.
So let's talk a little bit about the San Diego Fall Classic that's coming up. What kind of boats will you guys be racing?
We're going to race 4 fours and an open novice 8.
What kind of challenges will these teams present to you?
You know, anytime you face a competitor, you want to respect them and you want to know that they're going to bring their best and throw their best at you. So I'm expecting that they're going to bring their very best and we're going to bring our very best.
What do you think USC's women's rowing team's very best is? What are the team's strengths?
Right now, I think one of our strengths is our strength. Like, we've been working in the weight room quite a bit. We are moving around a lot of really heavy weights, and I think that that's translating into what we're able to do on the water.
And I know your main season is the spring. What are you most looking forward to about the spring season?
Oh, in the spring, you know, the rates come up. Like right now we're doing a lot of long, low-level aerobic base work, and when the rates come up, boy, sometimes you see some real differences in some athletes that become anaerobic athletes.
And what are some of your goals for those sprint distances?
You know, we're going to build speed as we go throughout the season, so I think early in the season I'm looking to see how well we can execute the technique at the base rates. As we build through the season and we get to, you know, the Clemson Invitational down in South Carolina, I'm really looking to see how well we can race against some top-tier competition.
This is your first season as a Trojan. How has the adjustment been?
Right? Oh, it's been fantastic. You know, I can really get adjusted to the weather here. So the training weather has been quite good. If anything, I'm worried about how we're going to handle adverse conditions because it's sunny and flat water here a lot of the times.
Glad to see that you're becoming a member of the Trojan family. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Chloe. Thanks for the interview.
The USC men's water polo team is preparing for their crosstown showdown this weekend when they face the UCLA Bruins. The Trojans are currently ranked number 2 in the nation and have a record of 22-2, while the UCLA Bruins are following close behind, holding the number 4 spot, and they have a record of 17-3. After their crosstown showdown, the men will have about a week off before they play in their final 2 tournaments of the season. All right, well, that's all I have for sports, but it's definitely a busy time.
It is busy, and you know what? USC is doing well, and that's all that matters, right?
Yeah, I really liked that rowing story. It's always fun to see those less traditional sports.
Totally. All right, well, thanks, guys.
Thanks, Amy.
Well, Virginia elected one of the first openly transgender people into their state house.
We have people's reactions to the story next. Stay with us.
don't ignore the subtext. It's on us to intervene in sexual assault. Because we can. Take the pledge at itsonus.org.
Hey, look, it's those guys. Are you good to drive?
I'm fine.
How many did you have?
I should be fine.
You should be?
Go on and step out of the vehicle for me.
See ya, buddy. Good luck.
So turns out, buzz driving and drunk driving, they're the same thing, and it costs around $10,000. So not worth it.
Voters in Virginia made history last night electing the first transgender state lawmaker in the U.S. Annenberg Media's Josh Zhang has more on the victory.
This one's for you. And this one is for, most importantly, the people of Haymarket.
Democrat Danica Roem defeated long-serving Republican incumbent Bob Marshall last night to serve in the Virginia legislature. Marshall was the state's longest-serving lawmaker and had held his seat since 1992. Roem's campaign focused on fixing traffic issues and improving schools. The win is being celebrated in the transgender community and on the USC campus. Defeated incumbent Bob Marshall had introduced legislation blocking rights for transgender, so many in the community are celebrating today. Activists say that sometimes difficult times bring people together and stronger.
Election of Trump really woke a lot of people up as to what needs to be done, and I feel that at times when those things, when tragedies or things that really shake the fabric of our thought process force us to go to the fittest, and a lot of the times we're looked at as being at the bottom of the rung, but it's also created our strength. Roem's victory was among a handful of wins nationwide for LGBTQ candidates. Not everyone is happy about the victories. Some took to Twitter to react, claiming candidates won because of their sexual orientation. Roem, who takes office in January, says she does not want to focus on her gender and wants to take care of local issues. For Annenberg Media, I'm Josh Zhang.
Now take a listen. Former President Barack Obama was seen at Chicago's Daly Center after he was summoned for jury duty. Obama was seen shaking hands and posing for pictures with other jurors. After serving for 2 terms as commander-in-chief, it would seem Obama is fit for jury duty. However, the judge dismissed Obama after his panel was not chosen. I would have wished, Obama could have been at my jury duty.
Certainly wish so too. Have you been on jury duty before?
I have, and it's been a long process.
Well, maybe it wouldn't be so long if Obama was there. What do you think?
Good point. Good point, Maddie.
Have either of you done jury duty before?
I can't. I'm not a U.S. citizen. So
oh, okay.
Oh, you're from London.
Okay. I will not be called for, unfortunately.
Well, maybe one day if you move here, and then, we'll figure it out.
Absolutely.
Well, I certainly hope that Obama shows up when I take my first jury.
Well, good luck with that. Good luck with that. All right.
Thank you so much for watching. Annenberg TV News from everyone here at Annenberg Media. I'm Madeline Audley.
And I'm Suji Nam. You can catch us on the web at uscannenbergmedia.com. Have a great rest of your night.